Hello and good morning. Let's take a look. First of all, if you have your math fee, make sure you see me the last 5 minutes. If you can provide snacks, please do so. There's 4 steps to solving any problem. Is number one, you have to understand it. Then you have to come up with a plan. You have to try to solve it. And then you have to check it to make sure your answer seems plausible. Okay, so right now, let's look at page 28. So open up a book. So on page 28, we're talking about combinations here. And if you look at number 2, right here, on page 28, it says a baseball team won 2 of their last 4 games. And how many different orders can they have 2 wins and 2 losses? Well, you just start numbering them down. Like you could lose the first 2 and win the next 2. You could win the first 2 and lose the last 2. You could win the first one, lose it, win, lose it. And you write down all possible combinations until you get how many you have. And in this case, let's see what it is. On the next page, we have them right here. Okay? And you don't want any duplicates. So apparently there's 6 different ways they could do that. All right, we're going to turn our attention now to the next chapter. Copy down these definitions. A set is a collection of objects, like 1, 2, 3 would be a set. And this is called the roster method using braces. Each one of these is called an element. Okay? The days of the week. So page 48, example 1. Some people start the weekday on a Sunday, and then it goes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. And there it is. Some countries start the first day on a Monday. Example 2. Write set A as the alphabet. So you would put A, set A, and you would use braces, and you'd start listing A, B, C, all the way to X, Y, and Z. And there it is. Pretty simple. Now I'm going to give you names of the different sets, and you need to memorize them. So copy this down. Natural numbers start off with 1. Whole numbers have a hole in it, and the hole is 0. Make sure you know the difference. Integers is the number line. A rational number either terminates or repeats, like 2.4, since it stops right there, it would be a rational number, and we use the letter Q. If it repeats, 2.4 repeating would be a rational number. An irrational number does not repeat, and it goes on forever, like pi, or the square root of 7. The square root of 9 is equal to 3. So 3 is not irrational. It's actually a rational number, right? Because it stops. It's an integer. It's a whole number. And it's a natural number. All of these numbers are real. Real is the whole set of everything. Okay, let's take a look at some of these. Example 3, page 49. The set of numbers less than 5. Well, that would be 4, 3, 2, 1, dot, dot, dot. It would go on to negative numbers. The solution set of x plus 5 is equal to 1. Well, you have to solve that. So what you're going to do is draw a line, subtract 5. Since these are the same, you got to add them up. So it's going to be x is equal to negative 6. So the solution set is just one number. It's negative 6. Let's take a look at negative 6. Negative 6 is not a natural number. It's not a whole number. It's an integer. And since it stops, it's a rational number, and it's a real number. Okay? All right, let's keep going. Whole numbers less than 4. Remember, the whole numbers start with 0. So less than 4 would be these. And that would be the answer for that. You can't go below 0 because if you do, then it's not a whole number. See? Less than 4 would be these. Okay, today's work is right here. Make sure you copy the problems and show work. Let's turn our attention now to college algebra. Let's take a look. Math fees and snacks. If you have the math fees, see me right after class and I'll mark you down. All right, this one right here, I'm going to use FOIL. So I'm going to go u times u is u squared. U times negative 2 is negative 2u. And then go to the next number. 2 times u is plus 2u. And then minus 4. These cancel. So I get u squared minus 4 times this one. Times u squared plus 4. When you do this, you're going to take this one to both of these. So that times that is u to the 4th power plus 4u squared. Go to the next one, negative 4u squared, and then negative 16. This cancels, so your final answer is u to the 4 minus 16. And that's actually the difference of two squares. We'll talk about that in a little while. Copy this down right here. What we're doing today is the beginning of factoring, and I need you to pay attention. So put a star by this and learn these methods of factoring. There's like 4 or 5 different ways. The first thing you do is what's in common. Write this down. What is in common? Always this one first. Well, if you look here, there's a 2 inside of these, right? 2 times 3 and 2 times 2. So they both have a 2. This one has 3 x's. This one has 1x. So they have an x in common. So I'm going to take out a 2 into x. 2 times 3 is 6. There were 3 x's, but I took one out. So there's only 2 left. 2 times 2 is 4. And there was 1x, but I took it out. And so that's the answer right there. And that's called the greatest common factor. Let's try this one right here. On this one right here, if the first term is a negative, you have to factor out a negative. Also, if you know your times tables, you can see that a 4 goes into this one. 4 times 3, 4 times 4, and 4 times 1. So I'm going to take out a negative 4. They do not all have an x, so you can't take an x out. So you took out the negative and the 4, so you're left with x squared. When you take the negative out of that positive, see, a positive is really 2 negatives. So if you take one of them out, you got to be left with a negative. 4 times 3 is 12, and you're going to put that x. See, a negative times a negative will give you what you started with. This one's a negative, but if you take it out, it becomes a positive. And 4 times 4 is 16. And that's how you do that. That's called factoring the greatest common factor. Let me let you try one. Try 5x squared minus 10x. Work that problem right there. Okay, so they both have a 5, so you would take a 5 out. And they both have an x, so you would take an x out. So if you take the 5 and 1x, you're left with an x. If you take a 5 out, you're left with 2. And you took the x out, so there it is. You can check it. 5x times x is 5x squared, and 5x times 2 is 10x. Make sure you understand that. All right, take a moment and copy this chart, and I want you to try to memorize especially the last two. All right, we're going to work these, and then I'm going to get you started. This is called the difference of two squares. 10 times 10 is a perfect square. 2y times 2y squared is a perfect square. So this is a minus, so it's the difference of two squares. Write that down. Difference of two squares. This is the second method. That's the first method. Okay, so this is going to always be a plus and a minus. So it's going to be 10 plus 2y and 10 minus 2y, and there it is. You could use FOIL to check it. Watch the next one. This one right here, believe it or not, is the difference of two squares. See, this is a perfect square. So x plus 2, quantity squared, and then y squared. So your answer is going to be x plus 2 plus y, and then x plus 2 minus y, and there it is. It's the difference of two squares. It's this one plus that one, and then this one minus that one. Okay, so expand your thought. This one is the difference of two squares. This is x squared squared, and this is 4y squared squared. Because a power to a power, you multiply to get that. So now it's going to be x squared plus 4y squared, x squared minus 4y squared, and then this is not the difference, so you can't factor that, but this one you can. This is x squared squared, or rather x squared minus 2y squared, so this one can factor further. So this would be x plus 2y and x minus 2y. So you always have to make sure you factor it completely. This one, again, you can't factor that one because it's a plus. It has to be a minus. This is your answer. Take a good look at that. This one right here, expand your thought. Both of these have a x plus 3. So you're going to take out an x plus 3. That's what's in common. So you're left with x plus 3 minus 4. And then you can simplify that. X plus 3 and then x minus 1 because you have more negatives.